happening, y'all? Welcome back. This is episode 186 of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow, the number one Arrowverse podcast on Pornhub. I am your host, the self-knighted Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, now Lord Cussalott Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Mara the Shark Watkins.
Hi.
How are you tonight, Mara?
Hydrated.
Hydration is good. It's good to be hydrated. I don't know how well this hydrates me, but I'm sure there's water in it somewhere.
If you broke it down like 1,000 times, probably.
Maybe.
Like filtered through it.
But yeah. Well, we're not here to talk about the different levels of hydration that occur from my chosen beverage.
With the heat coming this summer, make sure you guys do stay hydrated.
This is important. It's very important.
We need you all to survive, so we have people to listen.
Exactly. But again, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Arrowverse on the CW. Supergirl, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Stargirl, Superman and Lois, all that.
Even though we're kind of narrowed down to 3 shows now.
And it's really just one happening right now, so.
It's right now one a week.
Well, we got 3 that are have had seasons already, but we still got Gotham Knights coming, so.
True. That's not to the fall.
Yeah. Well, that's next year, actually.
Oh. Your ghost acting up? Your ghost acting up? I heard like a sound before, and then you looked over to the side. So I was like, is your ghost acting up?
I didn't even realize I did that, so I don't know.
What's to your right?
Like over there?
Mm-hmm.
A wall. Right here is a screen.
Oh, okay. Because I think you might have glanced at the screen. I was like, is your ghost acting?
Yeah, that's entirely possible because I have a screen here, screen here, screen here. So I may have just looked at the screen real quick. I don't know. Because I'm always doing like 4 things at once. So, I was checking something over here. So, well, something's happening here, and I was checking on it most likely without even realizing I was checking on it. So, but yeah.
The Flash is what we had.
Yeah, The Flash is what happened this week. That's the only show that happened this week. Everything else is on, break, hiatus, whatever you want to call it.
Or done.
Yeah. But yeah, before we get into it, though, there's a couple of things we did find out.
Superman and Lois's finale was pushed back a week.
That happened. Also, we got some casting news for Stargirl. Thunderbolt, the little genie thing in the pen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Seth Green is going to be voicing that character in this coming season. So whoever was, voicing it before will no longer be voicing. I don't remember who it was, but Seth Green is going to be doing it, this coming season. So that's interesting.
Chances are I won't even notice the voice difference.
Yeah. Robot Chicken Dude, Chris Griffin, different things.
That dude you don't think you know, but trust me, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know him from something, even if you don't realize it. And also, Mara, I've been doing some thinking. Just, about things.
Some thinking.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is it about Naomi that just wasn't hitting? Other than like stupid stuff that happened in the show that made no sense, with her always like her magically getting super speed as soon as she needed super speed.
You mean the slow and how it was so slow and then it just...
Yeah, but there's a
ramp up.
A very big thing was missing. I don't think this is like the be all end all problem with the show, but it makes a difference. We got through an entire season of a superhero show and she never had a superhero suit. Think about it. Every other show we watched, by the time the season was over, especially early on, they had some kind of a suit. Naomi never got a superhero, so she never distinguished herself to look like a superhero.
Which is ironic because she loves.
Exactly. You would think with her character, when that happened, she'd try to make some kind of a suit, do the whole montage thing like they did on Supergirl when Kara kept trying on new stuff over and over again. Like, nah, with her and what's the old girl name? Her real good friend. They keep calling her babe all the time. Annabelle, was that it?
Yes.
Yeah. Her and Annabelle doing some kind of fashion montage with her, picking a super suit or some shit. I don't know, but like
anything.
Feels like she should have eventually gotten some kind of a superhero suit. And it never happened, and that bothers me. I didn't realize that bothered me until I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, she never got a superhero suit. Anyway, yeah. The Flash. Let's talk about The Flash. This episode of The Flash was called What?
The Curious Case of Bartholomew Allen, which
is his full government name because he an old ass man.
Low-key made me want to watch made me want to watch like Benjamin Button. Then I was like, that's 2.5 hours I can't get back.
You're right. This episode, fun enough, was directed by Katie Lois. You all know her as Sarah Lance, Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow fame,
She's still around.
Yeah. She directed this episode, and then like a week later found out her show was canceled. So,
That's so fucked up. They probably didn't pay her differently for it either.
So anyway.
Don't mind me. My eye is just leaking uncontrollably for whatever reason.
Is it like goop or like?
No, it's just tearing. It just won't stop tearing.
I understand. I have that effect on people.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, it is. You see me and you it results in tears of joy. Yeah. Yeah. You're so happy to see me that you cry. Yes.
I'm not happy about this.
Or like,
unhappy.
Or it's like the whole, the Michael Jackson effect when people just start crying and passing out as soon as he step out on the stage. No.
That's crazy. Isn't that Prince?
No, that was Michael Jackson who stood up on stage. People lost their shit and he just stood there. Then he turned his head and half the crowd passed out. Like it was crazy. It's crazy shit. It wasn't actually half, but it was an exaggeration. But still, people passed out when he turned his fucking head. It was fucking insane the kind of power this man had over a crowd. Anyway, back to The Flash. Beginning of this episode, just found myself asking myself, where's the fucking baby? Because it's just, where is it? They finally made a mention of the kid in this episode. Like, yeah, she's at daycare.
She's at preschool, yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, now you mention this kid that you just seem to just never have ever. Like, they both parents be at Star Labs, like on short notice. Like, so how you get the babysitter? You got a babysitter you can just call to come over in 5 minutes and you run to Star Labs? Like, how are y'all both in the lab right now? Where's your child?
They have a neighbor who they're just like, can you please?
Yeah.
Who they didn't tell that Joe retired, clearly.
I guess. So yeah. I don't know. Some things happened. Flash saved some old lady. She gave him a butterscotch.
Great. Yeah. I don't know why. I love that old lady joke that all old ladies be carrying butterscotch.
Yeah, little candies in there, usually a butterscotch or them little strawberry things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Legend has it, if you're not of the right age and you try to buy that shit, when you walk out of the store, it just disappears. Because we're not allowed to have them.
Yeah, because like, where do they get them from?
I've seen them in stores. The problem is, I think if I tried to buy them, they would disappear.
they're in your bag, and then you walk out the door, and then you look and it's like
I suddenly don't have them anymore. Yeah.
Yo, you remember the cream lifesavers?
Yes.
Oh my god, what a time. What a time to get candies from old people.
Oh man.
My aunt Thumb used to pull them shits out. I was like, oh yes.
Let's see. So yeah, apparently this whole fiasco interrupted a D&D session. Barry runs back and he rolls a nat 20, which is like, oh, that's impressive. But then something happens here. And it upset me, Mara. I was upset.
Uh-oh.
And those of you who actually, play D&D pretty regularly and know how these things work will understand my frustration here. Because it made me unreasonably upset. So he comes back and he rolls the dice and he's saying that his character's a cleric and he was casting Sacred Flame. You don't roll a d20 to cast Sacred Flame. When you cast Sacred Flame, the creature that you're casting the spell on rolls a d20 for a saving throw to see if they're able to dodge that shit. You don't roll a d20 to cast Sacred Flame. But that's what they said happened. And I'm just like, that's not how that spell works. Like, and he's like, yes, a natural 20 is a critical hit on the Sacred Flame. Like, you can't crit on Sacred Flame. It's not a thing. It upset me. I didn't like it. Like, if you're going to throw this stuff in there, at least do it right. Who wrote this shit? Somebody who doesn't play D&D. That's who. They just heard somebody mention Sacred Flame one time. Like, oh, we're going to throw this in there. I'm like, oh, they don't know. It's like, oh, it's cool. The nerds are going to love this. We talk about D&D. No, I hate it because you did it wrong. There's so many cleric spell attacks they could have done where he could have rolled a nat 20. Spiritual weapon. Boom. But they chose Sacred Flame for some reason. Fucking stupid. Got on my. I'm
sorry, Travis.
Anyway, Joe can't get with it. He old man stuck in his ways. I can't do this, blah, 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 kind of thing.
It's a lot of old man stuff this week.
Yeah. There was a theme. So flash forward a little bit. Flash forward. Fast forward is what I really wanted to say. So the police chief is talking to Barry. He shows up at the precinct because reasons.
Former Chief Singh.
Yeah, old Singh. He's there like, yeah, got some issues. I need you to check some shit out. And they do some digging and Barry does some flash shit and with some connective tissue. I'm like, there we go. Shipyard. I'll go to the shipyard. And he goes to the shipyard. There's some kind of gamma array there in the back of a van and
modified and it goes off.
Well, it doesn't go off. The dude makes it go off. He comes out talking shit and then he just says, wabon, and boom.
He's like, I'll show you what it does.
Yeah. And it blasts the Flash and boom. He gets back to Star Labs. They find out on the inside he has aged 30 years. So his powers have decreased by 29%.
Who took him to Star Labs? They find him or did he get up and just get himself?
I'm guessing he eventually got up and limped back home or some shit, very quickly, limped very fast to get back home.
See, that would have me nervous because what if in all that time someone else stumbles upon you and just unmask you?
Yeah. It could happen.
They got to have some kind of contingency plan when he be getting knocked out in places. Because I feel like we've seen him get knocked out somewhere obscurely before.
Yeah, it's happened, which is why he needs some kind of contingency like Batman did on The Dark Knight, where if you try to pull it off, it zaps you or some shit. Yeah.
Shocks you.
Yeah. Let's see. This is right after this is when Joe mentions the kid being in preschool because the chief comes by
I thought
Um,
her name was Jenna, and he keeps saying Jana, and I don't know if this is just the actor's like way of talking, or if that
it's
child's name is actually.
irrelevant. The child is not real. They don't actually have a child. I've convinced myself that that's the case. This child does not exist. It was all some elaborate scheme they came up with between Joe and Cecile, and there's no actual child. Because they've mentioned her, yes, but when's the last time we actually saw this kid?
Probably when it was cheaper to cast her.
I mean, it can still be cheap now. They can use any child. We have no idea what this kid looks like.
Well, no, I mean like when you're paying for an infant, I'm pretty sure it's like less because their work time there is probably
Yeah, significantly
less.
less. They can only work for a certain amount of time. Like there's SAG rules behind that. So yeah,
And then I
it's
feel like toddlers, you got to pay them a little bit more,
more
you
than a
know?
baby, possibly, but
Yeah. So I was just like, with all of the CW's misgivings, they were just like, "Oh, we're not trying to put money on an extra person we don't
I mean,
need."
they can just put him at, like as a guest role kind of thing, and she just pops on a little bit. You pay them. It depends on where they are on the
The roster.
yeah, like you got regulars that get paid a certain thing, reoccurring that gets paid a certain thing, guests that get paid a certain thing, features that get paid a certain thing. So there's all that different stuff involved. So it's just like you put them on that bottom rung. Just have the kids show up once or twice during the season so we remember that it exists. Like you can prove to me that they still have this child that they made up. Like
Keep being reminded of Bart and Nora. Where's Jenna? Jenna.
yeah, yeah,
Also, the other daughter of Cecile's, we never see her either.
yeah. I think but she's away. She's at college though, so it's just like that's some difference. It makes sense for us not to see her.
She's still at college. I feel like she's been in college forever. But then again, the last few seasons have only really been like over the span of what, a year and some change.
Right. And then we haven't seen Wally either. So it's kind of like, that when they're adults and we haven't seen them, I'm more okay with that. But this is a child who lives in their house. Allegedly.
Who needs supervision.
Yes. So this child who allegedly exists and lives in their house. Like they took off and went on a trip across the globe with all the whole group of people. Where is the child when this happened? Yeah, that whole thing when the brush got left behind on the couch and all that kind of shit. Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, when they took off like that, when all of them took off, like everybody.
It wasn't Valentine's Day, New Year's, but either way, it was.
Yeah, whatever it was, when they all ran off
to Paris.
Yes. Where was the fucking baby?
Upstairs sleep. They got the monitor.
Anyway, so
Baby
Joe's
literally could just run back and just be like, shh, and go back like as if he's never missed the party.
Yeah, so Joe is at the house. He's like struggling with all the new tech. He has a little robo vacuum thingy.
Roomba.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a Roomba. I don't think it was actually a Roomba because branding and all that kind of stuff. But
no, I know.
But yeah, he's struggling.
Roomba.
Yeah, he was struggling. Chief is there. How'd the chief get in the house?
I said the same thing. He literally, and he also walked from like
a back hallway. Room. Yeah, like from the back. Like what? How did you get in here?
And just enough that Joe didn't hear you come in, so that he was still not so that because he was surprised to see him up in the house. Like, oh hey, what's up?
Barry said you'd be coming by. Did Barry let him in? Like what happened? Barry wasn't there though, so we couldn't have let him in.
Did Barry say when he was gonna stop by either?
I don't know. I just want to know how he got in the damn house. He was just in the house.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was the first thing I said. I was like, now how the hell did you get in here and he don't know you in here?
Yeah. So
Like,
they have a little. What's up?
I was like I get the door being unlocked, but I was like, you gotta hear it. So you would have to, like, Joe would have to have been alert that someone was coming in the house.
Exactly. And he's very observant. So there's no way you open the front door and close it without him knowing, unless you're like, in full cat burglar mode, which why would you do that in his house, But
Get you someone who could do both, protect the law and break it.
exactly. So yeah, they talk for a while, and Chief's like, "Yo, I'll help you with your tech challenges here," and they get to work. Meanwhile, Cecile's talking to Barry like, "Yo, you need to chill," and Barry won't chill.
Because every time he uses his speed, it activates the radiation from the gamma that's
Yeah.
aging him.
So there's some shit that goes on. He tries to take off and go get the bad guy again, but now his eyesight and got all bad, and now he fucks up and gets hit with some shit that knocks him out. And now he's aged another 10 years.
And also his memory is like going weird.
Right. So yeah, the more he uses his speed, the more he ages. There's some other shit that goes down when like he's with Cecile and they like, yo, let's get back to the lab, and Barry runs them all the way to the Great Wall of China instead of back to the lab. You're like, yo, what the fuck, Barry?
And also forgets how he got them there. He was like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
What? You?
Yeah. So yeah, back at Star Labs, they're like, yo, Barry, if you do this again, you can die. Like you use your speed too much, you will die the next time. So stop that shit.
Like you ain't gonna make it any further.
Yeah. So then we got a little back and forth with Joe and Chief Singh is like, yo, we need to get you out of the house. And yeah. What were you about to say?
Oh, it was like I thought you were talking about when they were like out wherever they were.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that now. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, he's just pretty much just telling Joe that he's set in his ways, and then gave him like 2 examples of like time that Joe just like won't change. Meanwhile, his life is changing around him constantly. Like he raised the Flash. Like get with the times.
Change gonna come. Yeah. But yeah, you just like, yo, your own stubbornness is what's holding you back. Like he mentioned a few examples, like that case they were on. Like it took him so long because he wouldn't use the computer system for the filing. He wanted to do everything like manually, and it took him forever to sift through the files. Like this all took too long because you were being stubborn. It's like it's all your own shit. Let's see. Back in the lab, Cecile finds Barry like wandering around looking all confused, like because he just forgot what he was supposed to be doing completely, which happens to me still, and I'm not old. So
no, he said he didn't remember where Starchives was. He looked so sad. He looked so like disappointed in himself.
Yeah, so they do, some more looking and research and figure out what this dude wants. Apparently, he wants to absorb other people's use to make himself young again. If his machine with all the amplifier and shit works, he'll be able to, absorb everybody's youth in the whole city and make himself essentially immortal. Let's see.
And then they inserted all this science talk as to how they can fix it. So my ears kind of glazed over.
Yeah. Overload the machine because reasons. Barry can do it.
Yeah. Right. Even though Barry shouldn't because of his condition, but Barry's going to do it.
Yeah. Run, Barry, run. That's always the solution, except for when you hold hands and use the Care Bear stare. Yeah, I'm still not over it.
I see that. So he does what he said he was going to do and overloads the machine, and Orloff turns old.
Has a heart attack while he was doing it.
Yeah, that's some G shit.
Ages to over 100. Yeah.
He shriveled up like an old mango.
Yeah. Like one of them avocados that you didn't cut open right away.
Mm-hmm. Just
Yeah.
like all the moisture left his body.
Yeah. But it works. Everything reverses. And it turns out Barry's actually even younger than he was before. He's 29 now.
Does that make Iris a cougar?
Not quite, because they're not that much of an age difference, you know.
I mean, at least because she's older.
I mean, simply being older doesn't make you a cougar, though. Like, it's like, I feel like there has to be a significant age gap for you to be considered a cougar.
It was really just kind of a joke.
I know, but I'm just thinking about it. And just like, I think, I think there needs to be a significant age gap. I don't know where the line is, though. Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Like,
I have no idea. I've had a nigga under a year younger than me call me a cougar, and I was just like, see, this is why I date older men. This is exactly why I don't talk to men younger than I am.
I get it. So then we got it's 1 week later, D&D time again, and this time Joe is all in, and all the things he's saying are complete nonsense if you really know how D&D works once again. But it's whatever,
And they also got Sing to join.
Yeah, Sing was there. So yeah, it was cool. But then Barry gets a phone call from Caitlin's mother because she don't know where Caitlin's at. And he's like, I thought she was with you. What the fuck? So he goes to her place and he phases through the door and sees her home lab with, all the fixings going on. But she also has the mirror gun. He's like, yo, what the fuck is this?
And she tries to explain herself.
Yeah. And she basically has to tell him everything. And he's just like, and she tries to use, what if we could bring back your parents? What would you do to make that happen? Like, there's a whole season about that. I did that. Like, I ran back in time to try to save my mother and damn near basically destroyed our universe. Like, I fucked everything up. That's what I would do. And I realized it was wrong. He didn't say none of that shit. Why didn't he say any of that shit? I don't understand. I don't understand. Well, like, I turned you into a supervillain. That's what I did.
Yeah, I think in that, because when she said it, imagine if it was like this. And I was like, well, I mean, technically he's done that, but he went back in time and undid something. You are trying to just bring someone back you're trying to create another person and hoping you're going to get the same result, and you may not get the same result or anything at all. And I think in my brain, I was like, these aren't the same things, Caitlin.
They're not.
It's like you bringing those things up. You're talking about him going back in time and changing shit again and fucking our lives up again, because every time he does that, for whatever reason in the real world, things go further to shit here too.
Yeah. So he ended up trying to reason with her, but she won't reason with him. She's just not listening. So he basically just goes super electro and just destroys her whole lab. The whole thing. And takes the mirror gun and like, sorry.
And like left. Yeah. Okay, so am I the only person who felt like that was like a villain arc starting?
For Caitlin? Yeah.
I was just like, oh, she gonna do some fucked up shit now.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact, because I know for this, she's angry.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is not gonna end well.
They didn't show it, but I was just like, oh, she's fucking angry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's gonna be pissed.
So yeah. And Flash, there is no Flash episode next week. They'll be back on the 8th of June.
It's just Superman and Lois next week.
Correct. But yeah, that's the Flash. Tomorrow, I mean, who's winning?
Barry. It was a very trying week for Barry, but the end results.
I'm gonna give it to Joe. I'm gonna say Joe, because he overcame some shit this week, and I'm proud of him. Even though what he was saying at the end was complete nonsense, You're like, I read that book and blah, 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 blah. Well, you clearly don't understand it. So,
Right. You
but
just you
still,
just memorize some sentences.
yeah. But he overcame some shit, and I'm proud of him. So I'm gonna say Joe's winning this week. Who's losing?
Caitlin.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. I'll say Caitlin. I'll agree on that.
I'm not gonna acknowledge the villain dude.
Who?
Orloff.
I know I was.
Uh,
That's how irrelevant he is. It was just, yeah.
Cause I was just like, what is this? What is this plan? You thought you were just gonna suck the life literally out of an entire city and no one would notice?
I mean, even if they do notice, what they gonna do about it at this point?
I don't know. It was just so weird. It was like, where would you go? Where would you hide?
I mean, that's the thing. They won't necessarily know he did it.
I don't know. I just pictured it in my head when I was like watching the episode. It's like his plan to come to fruition. Like when Chester was like, we'd all be dust. I was just like, everyone in the city turns to dust. And then you got Orloff at the edge of town, just like,
yeah, everybody in the city turned to dust, so there are no witnesses. He just goes somewhere else. Nobody knows what happened.
That's what I was saying. But like anyone who would come into the city would be like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah, they 100% would, but that wouldn't have nothing to do with him no more. He ain't there. I mean, I get it. Stupid still, but I get it. But yeah, I guess that'll be it for this week's episode of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow.
Seems like our next few weeks are so short.
Yeah. Don't forget you can follow us on both Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World. That is at TheCreatia World. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/Creation World. We also have a Facebook group for this particular podcast. Mara, what's that Facebook group?
Facebook.com/groups/Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, if you're a wrestling fan, don't forget to check out Smacking It Raw every single week. There's a Facebook group for that podcast as well. Facebook.com/groups/Smacking It Raw. And yeah, I think that'll be it. We'll see y'all next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram as Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORDCUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you?
Instagram and Twitter, Mara the Shark.
Cool. Yeah, that's it now. We'll see y'all next week. Till then, we out.
Skedaddies.